All right, y'all. It's the time of the day that you've been waiting for. It is the one show on air that will take you from the boardroom to the bedroom, from politics to the pulpit, and everything in between with your favorite friends. You are about to join the crew for Fresh Fire as we do what we do all together. Tune in.
Welcome to the crew, everybody, here on WHOV 88.1 FM, iHeartRadio, social media outlets, podcasts, the world, everywhere. We up there. Listen, Ton and Ray, this is typically a barbershop kind of show when you got just the fellas. But we got one that wanted to crash the barbershop. She wanted to crash the men's crew. You know what I'm saying? And wanted to join us. So we got a barbershop show plus one. Do we call it an outsider, fellas? What do we call this when you got a lady that's in the barbershop? How do we handle that, Ray?
You can't really call Alvin an outsider because if you didn't put the VEAN on the end of her name and just called her Al, she fit right in with the fellas easily. So that don't really she ain't no outsider, that's for sure.
So Tom, when you go to the barbershop, man, get a fresh cut, when the guy's in there, you talk a little bit of trash. But when a lady come in there in the barbershop, man, do you change your perspective, man, when the lady's in the barbershop?
Well, I am who I am wherever I am. So you get authentic Anton wherever you go. However, I do know that the fellas will change a little bit and they'll be like, all right, y'all. So this is all right, y'all. All right, y'all. This is one of those things. Yeah.
So this is the all right, y'all barbershop conversation. That's what you say?
No. They're gonna still get real us.
They're gonna get it today.
Every now and then, when the lady walk in, they be like, all right, y'all, just don't go too rough.
Don't go too crazy. All right, that's the kind of show we on today. All right, so Al, why do you want to be in the barbershop with the fellas? Tell us that reason.
Well, first of all, y'all know that, as Ray was kind of insinuating, I fundamentally believe that there's a 16-year-old boy that lives on the inside of me, okay? And he is perfectly joyful about being able to hang out with the boys. But because I present as a very female, it's a perfect opportunity to come in and have some conversations, ask some questions that we women would like to know. If there was, no edits, no holds barred, what would you people honestly say about a few things? So we're going to see where this goes. And I felt like what better time to have these conversations than inside of this space where we have committed to our listening audience that we will always be raw, we will always be honest, we will always be sincere. We're always going to have an element of faith in it because we are people of faith, but we are who we really are. There's no fake in it. So let's not be fake in this conversation either. So I have some questions.
So Al, before you get to your question, you want us to be straight up about the questions you're going to ask us.
Yes.
And by the way, audience, we have no idea.
Exactly. No prep.
What questions. This is no prep.
No prep.
There's no prep on this. This is real time answers to the questions that she's going to give.
I got to fix my face now.
Yeah. And are we to assume these are relationship questions? Or are these any kind of?
A little bit of everything. There's a little bit of everything because that's what happens in the barbershop. The conversation just goes where it goes in the barbershop. Okay. There's people don't come in with these are the three things we're going to talk about in the barbershop. It starts somewhere and it goes somewhere. And I said, you know what? Today's a perfect day to do exactly that because there's a lot of life going on right now. So we're going to do it in here too.
And you want us to be completely honest as
100%. 100%. I want you guys to be, and let's just call it asking for a friend, okay? We're just asking for a friend, right? So when you respond, you're welcome to respond that what I hear is, so it doesn't necessarily have to belong to y'all, okay? So I'm going to ask some questions on behalf of a few friends. And you guys can answer even perhaps on behalf of a few of the men. Let's just see where it goes.
All right, fellas, y'all ready? Y'all ready, fellas?
Yeah, let's do this.
While we get this lineup, while we get this tight end, this taper. Yeah, go ahead, get the lineup. All right, so we sitting in the chair now. We got the strip on. We got the barbershop cape on. All right, we ready. Go ahead, give it to us.
So let's talk about lying for a second, y'all. Okay. Let's talk about lying. Okay. So what a few friends would like to know.
This boy done checked out already. Y'all, Ray done checked out already. What is that?
Friends would like to know: is there ever a legitimate case for why you should be lying to your wife? Like, are there any parameters in which it is okay to lie to your wife? That's the first question that a few friends would like to know. You know, is there, when men talk to each other, do you all believe that there are some scenarios in which it's appropriate to not tell the whole story when you're talking to your wife? So I'm going to go straight to Ray because he tried to slip out of this. Ray, are there legitimate reasons to lie to your wife?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. So tell me what the men would say, Ray, because we know, of course, you don't lie to your wife. So tell me what you hear in the barbershop around the cases, scenarios, and situations when it's considered completely, this is between the men, okay? Like, this is man code, when it's considered completely appropriate to lie to your wife.
You always lie to her about how she really looks in that dress when you're 25. You always. Baby, you look absolutely fine. But when she gets 45, 50, 55, she wants to know the truth. And before y'all step out, she wants you to tell her, take that off. Because when she get to the restaurant, the gala, whatever it is that y'all are going, and she go to the mirror and she check herself, she gonna come back to the table and she gonna tell you, why didn't you tell me such and such and such and such and such was off, such and such was out, and such a, and then you still thinking y'all until you know, when y'all first got started at 25, 20, 30 years old, you still thinking then she changes when she gets, you know, a little bit more seasoned. She want to know the straight up truth, and she can handle it a little bit better then because kids are grown, the kids are born, kids are grown. She's trying to, you know, come back to, at least in my estimation, her best self. And I think that's a vice versa question. Men don't want to be out somewhere with the hair coming out of their nose, and they want you to tell them straight up, look, you need to tighten that up right there. No, go on back inside and fix that right there. So absolutely, so, you know, pending upon the nature of where the relationship is in terms of its longevity and time, you absolutely need to be telling the truth.
So you said you need to be telling.
You see how I flipped that right there? You see how I flipped that?
You see how you try to flip that? I asked whether or not there's a legitimate case for lying to her. So you said that early on in the relationship, how she looks is you can legitimately lie about how she looks in her clothes early in the relationship. That's what you said. On. And then you're telling me that when you get further in the relationship, 45 and up, that you should tell her the whole truth about what she looks like. That's what you're maintaining right now.
You better tell her the whole truth, because it's going to be problems for you later on. You let her come out looking like that.
Okay, but what happens if you tell her the truth and now the chick who stays in the gym, lives in the gym, who happens to be at the event, and she saw you see her, even though you tried not to change your face, she saw you see her, and you just finished telling her that she needs to take that dress off because it doesn't look the way it used to look when she's 25. But the chick that just came in the room, she still looks 25 at 15. And so you know that when you get home, she's going to feel some type of way about the fact that she saw you see her, and you just finished telling her she doesn't look like her 25-year-old self in that dress. Are you still maintaining that you're going to tell this woman the truth, that she don't look great in her dress, because you know that's going to come back to you later on this evening when she's sensitive about the fact that she doesn't look like the other woman looked who came in the room? Are you still maintaining that you're going to tell the whole truth?
You're going to have to tell the whole truth even in that moment, because you're going to have to follow up. You're going to have to say, but baby, we got 3 kids together. My TSP, your TSP, my 403B, your 403B. We got too much time to be in here worried about that. I ain't trying to do nothing with her. She good eye candy, but baby, I've been with you 25 years. I've been with you for the majority of my life. I ain't even thinking twice about her.
Mm-hmm. You know, we hate that answer, but go ahead. All right. So We hate that
I'm
answer.
just saying.
We don't want to hear about. We don't want to hear about the bid you're doing with us. Okay, like that's not what we're looking for.
You call it a bid.
Okay,
You be doing 18 to life. You doing ton. You doing ton time now.
now you good because you did a bid with us. You know what I'm saying? Now you just glad to have a sandwich.
I put my time in, girl. I'm straight.
Don't nobody want to hear about you good on a sandwich. I used to be a filet. I used to be filet mignon to you, and now you telling me you good with the sandwich. You know what I'm saying? Like
what I'm saying is the sandwich works for me because I got to be able to get that down.
Okay, yeah. He said he's settling for government cheese. Is Wick on that or whatever? Okay, so all right, so Kevin, because look, this is Barbershop, y'all. So I'm not going to be pleasant, sweet little. We a bunch of dudes having a conversation. So Kevin, you tell me, are there legitimate reasons to lie to your wife according to the men that you've had conversation with? Because we know you don't lie to Treese.
No, I don't lie to Treese. So let's make sure that is clearly stated first. All right, in this conversation. So what I would say is this. I think all men want to tell the truth to their spouse. I don't believe every woman can handle the truth from their spouse. Therein lies the problem, Alvin. Because when a man says the truth to his wife the first time and notices her reaction, that then will tell him how he needs to respond to telling the truth going forward. And if she goes sideways the first time, or she start going emotional, or she start doing all of this, then I guarantee you he's noted that in his mind. And the next time there is a moment where he has to tell the truth, he gonna take a deep breath first. And he gonna weigh the situation. And he gonna figure out if I need to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, or if I need to tell a variation of the truth, or if I need to say nothing. And it's all predicated on the response the first time that he tells the truth in a way that he feels is truthful. So, Alvin, look, in premarital counseling, I asked this question. I say one of the things, you tell me what's one of the deal breakers in the relationship. And a lady would say, I want my man to be honest with me. I say, okay, all right, that's good. There's two forms of honesty. The first honesty is if you ask me a question, I give you an honest answer. The second one is even if you don't ask me a question, I'm going to tell you how I feel. Now, which one do you want? Well, sometimes women will pause on that. Because then they'll say, well, I want an honest answer when he asks me a question. Okay, so if that's what you want, then he'll never say anything to you about how he really feels. Because now you're saying you want him to wait, essentially, for you to ask him about how he feels.
Yes, speak when spoken to. Yes,
correct. But then they'll flip it and say, okay, well, no, I want him to be truthful with me at all times. And then I say, oh, do you really? Because, honesty is a culture, Alvin. It's not words.
Yeah, that's a fact.
You got to create a culture of honesty in your marriage. And that means sometimes it may come out and you ain't going to like how it's going to come out. Right. And sometimes it's going to sting. And sometimes you're going to be mad about it. But is it the truth? And Alvin, I just believe every wife ain't built like that to want to hear it. And so now a man has got to figure out, okay, how do I make sure I don't start no blow up argument? But this is how I feel. But now you got to figure out the delivery. He got to figure out the delivery of how to tell the truth or not to keep peace.
What do you think? So, Anton, I'm going to come to you in a second, but I'm going to ask you all after Anton responds, what do you think men lie most about? Because of the reactions they typically get from their women. So like you said, what'd you say? Weight.
It's weight.
A woman's appearance.
Weight, how you looking at clothes, all of that.
So you think that
anything emotional, anything that's emotionally connected to her?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna come back
to
that.
Weight,
and sex. If we're being honest.
On that. Don't lose that. You said weight, emotions, and sex. And we're going to talk about each of those. Anton, I want you to answer the original question first, and then we're going to come to those other questions. So what do you say to the original question? Is there a legitimate reason ever for a husband to be lying to his wife? What would you say the answer to that question is?
No, but I agree with Kevin. It really is going to be a culture that's in your home. So it depends on how that man perceives your response to the first time you may ask that question that is dicey. And so if they feel that it's going to create either an emotional blow up, a huge argument, or some backlash, or some repercussions, he's going to think twice when you either ask that question or when they want to share something with you that could potentially create that environment. They're going to think it out. They're going to think. Men are thinkers. A lot of times people think that we are not thinkers. They think that we're just impulsive, or they think that, we just watch it. No, we think too. And here's the thing. You guys, when I say you guys, females,
Women
you
and children.
guys, you think things through beforehand. We think things through in the moment. But here's the thing, we store it. So we store it. And so although you may have, things already thought through, we store and we will reflect back on history and on past situations and on past incidents. And that would dictate the conversation and dictate the interaction in the moment. And so, yeah, you should not create that environment where you're untruthful, because again, I think once you start down that rabbit hole, then I think it's hard to not have it in the back of your mind that my spouse may lie to me or that my spouse may be a liar. And so you sometimes you got to just bite the bullet and just go ahead and just say what you got to say. However, just be mindful. There are a number of men who will not bite that bullet. And there are a number of men who will say, based on how she responded the last go around, I don't know. And let me tell you this, and for the fellas that has the wandering eye, and for the fellas who may have relationships and friendships on that job that they know their spouse would not necessarily approve of, them jokers ain't gonna be honest with her about that. And so I'm not even talking about the guy that's walking holy and doing the things biblically in their marriage. You got to remember, it ain't just Christian folks getting married. And guess what? It ain't just holy Christian folks getting married too. And so, yeah.
So let's be clear on that, right? So let's set the parameters for it. We're not, none of us up here, the brothers, are condoning that you lie to protect your shadiness.
Absolutely.
And your wayward behavior. Anybody claiming that lie, no, there's never an excuse for you to be covering up your mess. Let's establish that. What you're asking us is should there be lies? We're talking about in the context of how a man and a woman relates in their situation. So, for example, man work hard all day. He want to come home. He see the game. He know the game gonna be on tonight. He ain't trying to get no argument. And then he walk in the door, and then you want to ask a question that he knows could potentially set the whole night off. He gonna weigh that situation and how he answered the question because he want to get to the game.
So wait, so okay. So I gotta ask.
Those are closed-ended answers.
Yes. Or if you, like you say, if there's something specifically you want to do, and because sometimes you guys want to have conversations when you want to have your conversations, and sometimes you don't always read the environment properly, as far as like, is there something else that it may be a priority to them right now, or something else that they're trying to do or they need to do, and you're like, I need to have this conversation right now. We need to talk. Like those famous words, we need to talk. No.
I was just going to ask y'all.
We're in the middle of this right now. No, we don't need to talk.
All the phrases that women say to y'all.
Oh, that's the worst one.
What's the one you hate to hear the most? Okay, the phrase you're like, can we please press delete on that? Because I really wish that didn't come out of your face. What's the phrase you all hate to hear from women the most? Men in general. I'm not talking about necessarily you and your wives. What phrase do you believe men hate to hear the most?
Number one, we need to talk.
We need to talk. Okay. Ray, would you say it's that or something, some variation of that? What phrase do men hate to hear?
I would say we need to talk. And do you remember when I asked you? Y'all know I'm right. That's why they laughing.
Yes. When she say that, you dead to rights, boy, because she remember, you don't remember. That's what it is.
You don't remember.
Let's be honest. She know, you don't know. And now you scramble. And this is where the lie come in. Can you repeat the question?
Hold on. Now on the witness stand, can you repeat the question?
Can you repeat the question? Can you repeat the question? See what happened.
All right, Captain. So what is it? What's the phrase men hate to hear the most?
So I think this can go both ways. Let me just say that, right? So it's not just for the men, it's for the women too. Absolute phrases, for me, I think are things that men hate. Like you don't ever do this, or you always do this, right? Because neither one is true.
Never.
Right? But when you're mad, you wanna put some yeast on it.
I've been guilty of that. I've definitely been guilty of that. I'm an absolute guy, so I've definitely been guilty of that. Yeah.
You gonna put some yeast on that thing? Taking me out.
Yeah.
I took you out last week. You ain't never take me out.
Yeah. I've been guilty of that.
Never do anything romantic.
Never. You'll never do nothing for me romantically. I just Valentine's last year. Didn't I had all the gold petals, took you out to dinner, you ain't never done that.
Okay. So let's go back to the three things that you think men lie most frequently about in their relationships. You said weight, you said emotions, and you said sex. Tell me what you mean, because we're not going to leave any gray area for our listening audience, all right? Because the barbershop don't have no gray area. It's black and white. This is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm feeling. You could agree, you could disagree. That's on you. But I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking.
Add to that list money.
Okay.
Because that's the number one reason divorces take place. We talk about the physical aspect of relationship a lot of times, but we never talk about the number one reason why divorce takes place. And that's money.
And people think that the most frequent reason that people break up is because of infidelity, and that's not actually true.
It's money.
That's actually not true. And now money can create all kinds of other things. But when we look at root issues, a lot of times the root issue is not, in fact, the infidelity. It's all the other stuff, because the infidelity is actually just the symptomology of a problem, right? Like it's what happens. It's the sneeze, it's the cough, but that's not the sickness. That is how the sickness is manifesting itself in symptom. But the sickness is, a bacterial infection. The sickness is pneumonia. But the symptomology is the cheating. So people get that mixed up all the time, and they're paying attention to the cheating and not the thing that caused the cheating. So you're 100% right. There are very often the things that separate couples are not what people think are the major issues. The major issues are the issues that they talk about are actually the symptomologies. So now we have 4 items. We have money, weight, emotions, and sex. So when you say lying about weight, tell me what you all mean when you say that. What do you, because y'all, let's be clear, y'all don't look like you did when we met you either. So when we're talking about this lying about weight business, is this 2-directional? Is this 1-directional? What kind of lying are we talking about here? Because that 1-pack that you have that used to be a 6-pack, it ain't the same
24 pack. Now. It's 24.
That's not the same pack, okay? And we out here rubbing your Buddha.
She did not come up here and just do that. Did she just do that?
We rub your Buddha and tell you how cute you are, okay? But just know that we saw it too, okay? We both 40 pounds heavier than we were when we got together. So tell me about this weight lying that y'all out here doing out in the streets. Not you all, of course, because I'm sure you don't do that. But the men out there that they're doing lying to their wives about weight. Tell me what you mean.
Well, I'll go there. So I think there is this misperception, mischaracterization, this myth that we are going to always maintain the same physicality
Mm-hmm.
or physical look, and even physicality, even in the bedroom
Mm-hmm.
as we age.
Mm-hmm.
And that is just not true. And so I think that when you have a person that is, I think, immature in their thinking and even immature in their relationship perceptions, I think they may hold. I was talking to someone. I could give you an example. I was talking to someone recently who is in their late 40s and they're divorcee, and they were saying how they want someone who works out on a regular basis, which is nothing wrong with that. You
We're
want your
talking to a
person to
male
be
or
healthy.
female?
He was a male.
Male.
Uh,
Okay, go ahead.
one of my boys, he was a male,
Mm-hmm.
but he was just describing some things, and I'm like, yo, you almost 50. And I'm like, and you ain't got no hairline. And
Do it, Todd.
Can we
Do
talk?
it.
Can we
Do
talk about
it.
it? Can we talk about that?
and I'm saying,
Go
yo,
ahead.
You
I'm
got your
like, yo,
hairline still. Your hairline still loading. It's
right? I'm
buffering.
like,
We
yo,
haven't
I'm
seen the
like, yo,
hairline come
She
through
said
yet.
buffering.
but hold on, but he's in the gym. He looked like Hulk. So I get that that's important. But I'm like, you may meet some younger people or a potential mate who hair is everything.
Mhm,
Who
mhm.
to them, that's their thing. Because you have women who like they want to be able to wave their hands through their man hair. I mean, we all know what gets us off and what we like.
Yep.
So I just think when it comes to expectations, particularly if you've been in a long-term relationship where you got married when you were young and now you're getting into the decades of
Mhm.
marriage or whatever, I think you need to be realistic. And I think in the barbershop, there are a lot of men who are not very realistic
Mhm.
um their spouse's weight, and they don't look in the mirror themselves and see
Mhm.
you ain't the same person that they married. And then here's the second part to that. The second part to that is, did you marry her for her Coca-Cola bottle shape, or did you marry her for her?
Mhm.
Because if you marry her for her, yeah, you can encourage one another. Let's do more healthier things. Let's work out together. Let's do things that will help us to live a longer life. And I think that is reasonable. But to say if you don't look like Halle Berry or this person, then you're not attractive again. I think that is so crazy. I think that's so worldly. And then here's the other piece. You don't know how much surgery Halle Berry had to be
Talk about it.
the way she looked. And guess what? Halle Berry, yeah, she got that body, but she'd have been divorced how many times?
Right. Right.
Talk about it.
Right.
I'm,
There's all of that. So
I'm a,
here. Okay. Wait. Before the two of you answer, let me ask you this because this goes back to the lying thing in the conversation, the element about weight. Do you tell your wife that just being honest, you're not as attracted to her anymore because she doesn't look like what it was that you fell in love with in the first place? Because we could pretend all day long that physicality doesn't matter, but it does for lots of people.
sure.
So when it was tight and fit and curvy, and now it looks like a bag of cottage cheese, and you're trying to tell me that because her substance is the same, I'm supposed to feel exactly the same way. Or conversely, when I met him, he looked like a professional athlete, and right now he looks like Mr. Potato Head. So how am I supposed to feel exactly the same about the fact this this feels a little like bait and switch to me because that's not what I want. But this seems, and there's no refund on this. So I am stuck with this Mr. Potato Head and this bag of cottage cheese. So what am I allowed to say that the reason why I don't rub your butt at night is because all the ripples that my finger goes across, and it gives me the willies? Like, am I allowed to tell you the truth about that? So when we talk about being honest, how honest are we being when we say we're not going to lie to our spouses? Like, how do you tell your spouse that you're no longer attracted to them, and that's why you love them? We're not talking about love. We're talking about physical attraction. What happens when the physical attraction fades because there is no effort being made whatsoever to stay physically attractive for the other person anymore. How are you supposed to be honest about that? How do the men deal with that?
So, Al, as I said earlier, there's levels to this.
Mm-hmm.
And the levels of honesty is based on the man's ability, or in his mind, his ability to feel like he can share the truth. Mm-hmm. And it's also matched with the woman's ability to accept truth. Mm-hmm. Both pieces have to be in play in order to determine what level of truth is going to be shared. Now, if you're asking me, are most men going to say I'm not physically attracted? Probably not. Although if it's impacting intimacy, mm-hmm. then a conversation needs to be had. Right, wrong, or indifferent, right? But to your point, men are visual. Now, in a broader scope.
And for the record, some of us women are visual also. Just
yes,
for
sure.
the record.
Now, in a broader scope, what has happened.
You're going to have a problem.
Yeah. What has happened in a broader scope, Al, is, I think you know this, is that women have been, it's a lot of misogyny in our culture, right? So, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Women are viewed as sexual objects,
yep.
Right? Men set that up.
Yeah.
Men are visual. So I think because of the misogynistic culture that we have, and then you look at in our Black culture, our rap videos and all the stuff that does, and how women are promoted, and now how sexualized things are, I think women sometimes can internalize that too and feel like I gotta be this. See, I also think it's a flip piece to this too. Mm-hmm. I think there's some insecurity there where some men aren't as concerned about a woman's weight.
100%.
But the 100%. Woman is concerned. And he's trying to.
Some men are actually more attracted to bigger women.
Yes. And
they like it.
Yes.
But women have a hard time believing that you find that beautiful because our society markets the video vixen.
But let me tell you, Alvin, since this is Barbershop, let me tell you, for most men who are confident in themselves, let me just say this. Mm-hmm. Not the shady dude.
Yeah.
Most men are attracted to a woman's confidence in themselves, mm-hmm. not their size.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're a size 2 or a 22, but you're confident in who you are,
and you take good care of it, you present it well. Okay, go ahead.
A real man is going to want that more than a girl who is 36, 24, 36, but she insecure. She always asking, how do you like me in this dress? How do I look? Anybody, look, we ain't got time for it.
No.
Fellas, help me on that, fellas.
Yeah.
Because you spend all your time trying to worry about how you look rather than how we're going to parent this house, raise these children, divide up our assets, build wealth together, accomplish purpose together. We ain't got time to be worrying about every 5 minutes in the mirror. You know, we forget that the marriage relationship is two-sided in the sense that, you know, we're come together for purpose and to be able to accomplish things either in a vocational way, kingdom way, and for our own self-fulfillment. If I got to spend a whole lot of time worrying about vanity all day, then things are not getting done. So, you know, like Anton said earlier, men are thinkers. So we marry for future and we marry for security in the sense of how well she complements and fits in with us. And I think so women also vice versa. Go ahead, Tom.
So, and so that we can be real clear, because I don't want people to have the perception based upon what they see in social media and what they see in these rap videos that men is all 100% physicality. Mm-hmm. Because that's not true. Mm-hmm. That's a lie. Now that's important, but that's not 100% of it. And the confidence level goes beyond just the physical, how I look. The confidence level goes are you a confident person, period? Because you could be insecure about a whole lot of stuff other than just how you look. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That insecurity can drive a brother crazy. So yeah. I'm telling you, I want us to dig a little deeper than just the physicality, because for the viewers, I don't want you just to think that the men in the barbershop now, they just street. And so because they street, they may have a street mentality based upon what they embrace. That's what they embrace. But for a real brother, that is a well-rounded, real brother, and particularly one that is trying to have a relationship based on biblical terms, they are attracted to the whole woman, the whole entire woman. And that is, she's confident, not just in the bedroom, but she's confident in the boardroom. Because if you look at the women we marry, let's talk about it. If we look at the woman that we married somebody out of the strip club.
But just for the record, some of the wives look good enough to have been in the strip club. But go ahead.
Okay.
But I think, Tom, let me add to this, because I think this is important to understand, because all three of us, again, we're older in age, we're more seasoned in what looks and appearance. Right. For younger cats, they may be attracted to that, and I think there is some level of physicality attraction that matters in a relationship. But what I like to say, Alvin, is that attraction should evolve over the course of a marriage.
That's what I was going to ask the question, because where you start versus where you end up, it evolves for men too, because you people don't start emotional, but you definitely evolve into very emotional creatures. So what makes you attracted, I think, also evolves as well. And that
should evolve. Let me be clear on that.
Yes,
it should.
That's how the marriage survives.
For a man who matures,
it has to evolve.
But I want y'all, I still need y'all to hear this. It ain't just that Coca-Cola bottle, because guess what? My wife, Coca-Cola bottle, in that wedding dress, Coca-Cola bottle, and to me, she's still Coca-Cola bottle. I love every curve. And don't get that twisted, every last curve. And she loved this Buddha, as you put it out there, because I got a Buddha. So I do. I just do. I do. But anyway, she was intelligent. She was confident. Is confident.
But she was then too, and that's what attracted you to her. So she was, and she is.
And I need y'all to understand, I was a single attorney with no kids who had a Tybo body. Y'all remember Tybo? Yeah. I had the Tybo body.
I remember.
Killing it.
I'm a witness.
I remember. I said, so I had a whole lot of
options. You had options.
But they didn't have the substance on top of the body, on top of the physicality. It's more than just the physicality. The physicality is wonderful. And don't get me wrong, that's wonderful. But don't ignore the entire package.
Content.
Even when they're young. Even when they're young.
Yeah.
So Tom, what you got now? Bobo?
Look, I don't know what I got right now, because
you know, from Tybo to Bobo.
No, because now I do T25. Now I do T25, and I do Peloton.
Yeah.
So I do that now.
Stuff right
But can I tell you one of the things that my wife and I do? We do T25 together.
Yeah.
Because together you can do that. Getting healthy and staying healthy for each other is sexy. That could be part of the romance. Yeah. But you evolve into those spaces.
We do.
That's the piece. There has to be an evolution. And
we do T25 together. We juice together. I make her smoothies when I'm consistent, because sometimes brother can get so busy he ain't consistent in making these smoothies. But I want to live a long life with her.
Because that's what love does. But I got to pause you there, because we have to go to a part 2 where this is concerned, because there's so much we need to talk about. Kevin, am I right about that? We're going to need to roll into a part 2. Okay. So listen. So we started with the lying. Okay. Is there ever a reason to be lying? Because we're going to have real barbershop talk about all of this stuff, asking for a friend, right? So we still have to talk about the money, the emotions, and the sex. The stuff that's really thought about, where those 3 other items are concerned, because I got to ask a few questions for some friends.
Well, hold on, Al, because I don't know if you want to rush this, because that could be the part 2. I don't think we're going to get through all.
No, that's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say. We should get into that in part 2.
But let me point this one thing out before you move on from weight, because you're a mother.
I
am. Dawn is a mother. Tish is a mother, right?
And Treese.
And Treese is a mother. What men should appreciate about the physicality and the beauty of our wives now is, yes, as we've aged, men have aged, women have aged, gravity has set in. Do I need to be graphic about that? But But the reality is the gravity has come because in most cases you birthed our kids, right? And the reality is that birthing kids wrecks bodies, if we're going to be honest.
It definitely changes them, that's for sure.
The fact that you can have organs to be literally shifted in your body and expanded so that life can form should cause a man to want to see their spouse differently. Right? A real man, right? And when you see birth come out and you see this child enter the world and this child has your DNA in it, by the way, that should also want to change how you look at your spouse. Unfortunately, though, we live in a time where that's not the case.
Yeah.
Okay. Because, people are having kids with just anybody at this point. But that's the point that we're trying to make for real men now who look at beauty, that this is the evolution of it, right? I understand how and why your body's changing, because look at what Ray was saying. Look at what we built together. We got family now. It's just more than just you and I. It's a lot more to it, right? Even when I look at my wife, I see the scars that she's had from breast cancer, right? For me, that's beauty, because that's a reminder of what God has allowed her to come through.
Yeah.
Right? So we got to get out this notion that physicality is just this 36, 24, 36. That's not how it's supposed to be. It's an evolution to the process of how one comes to beauty.
Yeah.
If you put it in this context, if you look at, in terms of Kevin, you and I, we played sports. So there are times when you have injuries when you come along. And so if you look at our wives from the standpoint of having children, going through the process of raising them, their life experience, when they get to that part of where we all are today, they are survivors in ways that, many will never know nor understand. That becomes a testament to the power of who this woman is that is with you in your life. And so the fact that she survived all of the stuff from careers, birthing children, educational matriculation processes. And in my wife's case, she tells her own testimony. We're blended. So for her to survive some domestic stuff and then have the cancer scares on top of that, to see her today and to watch how she does what she does, that right there is sexy. And Al, you need to tell the truth about this, that women and the libido will land the show here. Fellas, 25-year-olds, listen to me. When she get 45, 50, 55, that libido is going higher. Yours is on your way down. So you want to be careful about how you treat that woman, because you running at a high octane right now. You wait till she get about 48, 49, 50. And you just trying to watch the game. She'll come in there, cut the lights out, shut that game down, it'll be over with, and you be sleep with your thumb in your mouth.
That's why I'm like,
This is the barbershop, man. I think.
Look, it is one of those realities. It's part of the reason in some of our previous shows we were talking about these 42-year-old women, these 45-year-old women who are with these 26-year-old men. Those are the women of my generation, right? Like, so many of us are dating much younger, those who are single, much younger men, especially, and here's the other thing too, we're going to talk about that in part 2. But when a woman doesn't need your money, she gets to pick and choose what it is that she wants, because I don't need you for dependency in that kind of way. And a lot of relationships were originated in the security that the man provided for a woman traditionally, but now when we're CEOs or when we're independently wealthy and or comfortable, and we don't need your money in order to secure our lifestyle, we choose differently. And that doesn't necessarily mean we're always looking for some younger man. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that our options broaden when we are not dependent on you all to provide financial stability for us. The expectations also increase. So what you used to be able to provide just from I'm a good man because I provide financially, and she doesn't need that. Now you've got to develop another skill. So you got to provide for her emotionally, spiritually. There got to be other things that you bring to the table, because the financial security is no longer enough because, bro, I don't need you for that.
But that's the problem. That's the problem, Al. And that could be the next show, because now you're asking, and this is where I am all day long with a lot of couples. the wife or the woman now is asking the man to be something that in many cases he's never seen.
Right.
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 And that's where the challenges come in. But let me get back to what Ray was saying about libido and younger. So are you saying now that at this stage, because I still think that there's a stigma to some degree of older women dating much younger men, as opposed to older men dating younger women. Nobody cares about that. But are you saying now that in this age that sisters are much older sisters are more comfortable now being openly in a relationship with a younger guy?
So what I'll say to you is that the challenge is that we don't necessarily present exterior for the rest of the world to see. So the word that you used was that little
Openly.
asterisk is next to openly, right? Because there are lots of us who are dating quietly younger men, and we're comfortable with doing that quietly. It's just that depending upon the age gap between, not as comfortable doing that publicly. But because we're not worried about what it is that he's providing for us from a financial perspective, and some of them are even successful, and because in the examples that we used before in terms of the athletes, those men had serious money and they're dealing with 40-something-year-old women, the women of my generation, right? Like, so there is that factor associated. It's just that when you come out of that celebrity spotlight in just the regular world, we're less willing to necessarily have it outward, but we are comfortable with dealing with it in our private lives, so he's the boyfriend our girlfriends may know about. We just don't take him to the company function.
And I bring that up because I do think historically,
come by at night.
Yeah. I do think historically younger guys have been open to older women, especially now because as I've talked to younger guys, they're like, look, these young girls out here immature. They don't know. They don't know what they want. They don't know what they want.
Yep.
They can't keep their mouth shut. An older woman knows what they want. They serious about the business. They ain't putting my stuff on blast. We can have meaningful conversation, and we ain't talking about what's on TikTok. Right.
That is a fact. And she knows stuff because this is the barbershop. She knows stuff in bed that little girl don't know about. So like there are layers, okay, like to what women bring to the table, okay? Because we done seen some things. We've developed some skills, okay? Like, so you should be careful with us because we will get you strung out. So you better make sure that this is a relationship you really want to be in, because when you get with someone who knows themselves, I'm telling you, it's a different ball game.
So what is it going to take then for the sisters to be more open then about their younger relationships?
And I think much like the evolution that we have even watched, and we talk about all things, even in terms of the way that the media has now related to gay relationships, right? That slowly but surely you see it in almost every show plot line, every part of the show's narrative. As we start to embrace, and I'm not making them equivalent. I'm just saying the things that we didn't necessarily see publicly that we're now seeing publicly. We didn't see divorces many years ago, now represented like as if it was nothing. We didn't see non-traditional households in the media when we were all younger. Now that's so typical. We didn't see gay relationships in the media. The media so drives what the norming factor is from a psychological perspective, that the more you start to see these different kinds of constructions of relationship and family and dynamic, the more comfortable we tend to become with what it is that we've now seen. So I think as that starts to evolve, because there's a movie out right now that's called The Idea of You, which is really about a woman who is in her 40s, who is dating a guy in his 20s, and what that relational evolution is. There are multiple movies. That one's just very popular right now on Netflix, but there are multiple movies now that are showing older women in their 40s with men in their, and I'm not calling 40s older, I'm just saying older than the person that they're with men in their 20s, and how that relationship evolves. Go ahead.
See, I think the challenge for women here is that for men, see, See, in that instance, a woman in her 40s dating a man in his 20s would be the equivalent for some women of dating someone her son's age, right? Or daughter's age.
Or daughter's age, yeah.
Which would make
and they address that. Let me be clear.
Right.
That dynamic is actually addressed in each of these movies, but go ahead.
Right. So that may make the woman feel a certain way. Whereas a man, if a man is dating a woman that is his child's age, he gonna get a high five.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, which is crazy.
But the woman is not.
Yes.
Right.
But here's the other thing too, because you guys talked about insecurities. One of the other problems is that because we are wired to believe that you guys are so physical and you compare from such a physical perspective, part of the other reason why a lot of times older women are uncomfortable being with younger men is because they don't want to be compared to the younger women that younger man could be dating. So you see these dynamics even in the storylines where there's a pool party or an event and you got these 20-something-year-old girls with a bikini this big on, and she wants to wear a one piece as a more mature woman because I don't feel comfortable having all of that out there. And I don't want to be compared my 40-something-year-old body that gave birth. I don't want you to compare that to her little 22-year-old body. You know, like, so those dynamics, the insecurities about how we see ourselves are represented in these plot lines also. And that's a very real thing for lots of women.
But see,
that's where I'm bothered watching you all leave women your age after marriage. And then the next chick that you're with after marriage is 10, 15 years younger than we are. We get upset about that mess too. So, like, go ahead. But
we got to land the plane. So let me just real quick speak to that again for real men. Now you're talking about a little boy. There are a lot of older men who are still little boys. Let's just be honest about that, right? But for a real man, I just want the listening audience to hear. It's not physicality is important, but as Ton and Ray said, it ain't the only thing. As a matter of fact, as you progress, it ain't even the most important thing.
That is a fact.
What's the most important thing?
That evolution. That is a fact.
Are you emotionally stable? Mm-hmm. Are you confident in yourself? Do you have income earning potential?
What's your credit score?
If I have
you go get a job,
how to put that pill in my mouth.
Listen, man, listen. We have a real conversation today. Todd, talk to him, Todd. I need you to get up and go to work too, because I'm working hard out here in these streets. Can you go get a job? After we done jumped off the bedroom dresser, can you go to work?
Right.
Now, hold on. That's when you're younger.
Yes.
That's when you're younger.
Yes.
But when you have, like, for instance, I was extremely happy when my wife decided to retire from being a podiatrist.
But Tom, hold on.
Yes.
She could retire because the ends were settled.
Oh, yeah.
See, that makes your category different, right?
That's different.
Right?
That's different.
She chose to retire. This ain't no forced retirement here.
That is
true. She
could
afford.
Okay. All right. Let's be honest.
But hold on. Y'all got to still remember, we still had a lifestyle that was based on two big incomes.
Right.
But whoa. But as you said,
thank you,
two big incomes.
Thank you, Al.
What he's talking about is folks that together are struggling with one medium-sized income combined.
Thank you, Al. I appreciate you, Al, because he Elmer J. Fudd over there. He talking about his mansion in a yacht. Yeah. What he talking about? You know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry, Todd. No. I just want you to know, bro, I love you so much, but your privilege just slipped out from underneath your socks.
It did.
He earned that. I gotta say, he earned that.
Al and Ray. Did he just say, I was so happy when my wife retired?
I was. And I still, because
she retired in her 30s. I ain't talking about you, Todd. I'm talking about the one that's still working in the 70s. Because they gotta work.
Yeah, no. I'm with that.
Okay, that's time.
But look, I think the most important thing we try to say here is physicality is important, but it's a lot more to it.
Not everything.
For real men. Because
particularly as they mature.
Oh, absolutely.
I need you in the hole with me.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, first, hold on. Before you leave, just like, okay, I know y'all already said my privilege slipped out, but nonetheless, I'll say this. We are looking forward to when I'm retired to travel and be able to just, go to the beach and walk on the beach and just
And
enjoy each
life. Mm-hmm.
enjoy
Mm-hmm.
life.
Mm-hmm.
Our child is an adult. Prayerfully, he is financially independent. Thank the Lord.
Right?
God,
Yes.
that's the prayer. That's the prayer right
Yep.
there.
In the name of
Okay,
Jesus. Okay.
that's the prayer.
Mhm.
But just being able to just to grow old together. I mean,
Yeah.
where's that? Where is that? We
Yeah.
don't see that in culture anymore. Just looking forward to just growing old gracefully together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And on that note, we gotta end here and just simply say that, Al, you asked us about the original question was about lying. So I want to come back to that.
Yeah.
Right. Again, we all affirm the brothers here in this barbershop that men should not lie, especially lying about your own shadiness and trash.
Yeah.
We don't affirm that at all.
Expose that joke.
Right.
Call
However,
that out.
when it comes to communication with your wife, pending how she responds, a man will adjust his answers depending on the response.
Yes, he will edit the depth of his honesty based on your reaction.
Perfect. Because there's levels to this.
Yes, there are.
There's levels to this. Well, Al, we appreciate you joining us in the barbershop while we got a fresh line and a little paper. Stay tuned for part 2 because part 2 is coming. Part 2 is coming. Until next time, be blessed and be a blessing to someone else. Peace.
Okay, I hope you loved it as much as we did. Thank you for joining us for another fire show for the crew. Listen, you can catch us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and any streaming platform that you're using for your podcast. Share with a friend, expand the family. Listen, we're trying to do this thing with all of you as often as we possibly can. We're looking forward to you joining us again for our next show.